Well, hello everyone. It is our Thursday night talk on Phil Quinn's page, and my name is Greg Jamiel, for those of you who don't know me. I want to pause there for a second. Something just popped up. There we go. Okay. So I think we're live right now. I'm going to check real quick. Refresh this page here. And there we go. Yeah, I can see my mug over there. Okay. So you can feel free to comment in the post here, and I'll be able to see your comments in just a few moments. So once again, sorry about that little thing there. I was trying to figure out what these little signs were popping up. So once again, welcome to our talk today on Thursday night. We're going to be speaking about the winter solstice and ways that we can weave self-care into our life, especially during this time of year. And I want to go over, as we typically do, some housekeeping things first. For those of you interested in booking a session with Phil, he's currently booking sessions in June. So he is definitely full. He's had a lot of people book over the past couple of weeks. And so what you see on the website is what we have available at this time. You can also order a gift card. I mail them out from Seattle. So depending on where you are in the country, I would suggest, if you do want a hard copy of that gift card, to get that in there pretty soon, because I need to mail it out tomorrow or Saturday to make sure it gets to you by Christmas Day. And for those of you on the West Coast, you probably have until about Monday for me to mail that out for you. And for those of you who are interested in working with me, you can log on to GregoryJamiel.com. I'm totally booked until the end of the year, and then my schedule opens up again in January. So if you're looking to learn how to connect with your guides, and if you're looking how to become more connected to your own spiritual practice, things like that, you can go to GregoryJamiel.com and check out the services that I offer for you. So I'd like to see you there. All right, so getting on to our exciting topic today. The winter solstice is a really amazing time of year. I did this talk earlier in the year when it came to the summer solstice. And if you remember, the summer solstice, we are much more extroverted and the sun is bright and the days are long. And now in wintertime, the days are much shorter. I think Sunday or Monday is the actual solstice. I think it's Monday here on the West Coast. Monday is the actual solstice, and I think sunset is going to be around 4 p.m. So it really is the lowest and shortest amount of sunshine that we have in the day. Now, adding on to everything that's happened this year, it can be quite challenging to stay positive and uplifted when it's dark when you wake up, and then dark, around 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon. That excess darkness can kind of weigh us down a little bit. So later on in this talk, I'll be sharing different ways that you can do things on your own to help uplift yourself and kind of make the most out of this time. So I want to talk about two different sections here: the historical perspective of the winter solstice, and then moving down into the energetic view of the winter solstice. And we also have a really amazing event happening. And I think if I remember correctly, the last time Jupiter and Saturn kind of crossed together to form this Christmas star was in 1649. So it was hundreds of years ago. Let me grab a little sip of my moon water for you. So what I'd like to put out there is, if any of you have any questions, or if you're feeling kind of in a funk, write it in the comments, and I will definitely give you some real world examples of things that you can do to try to turn that energy around and make that energetic shift. Because now, out of all times of the year, this is the time that we're meant to release things that we're holding on to and kind of usher them into that darkness. And so as the sunlight returns, we kind of bring with it this hope and this gratitude for our life and for things that are going on in our life, and bringing in that goodness for the next day. So again, historically, I want to go over here. The winter solstice is the shortest day and the longest night of the year. It also is the mark of winter. So on Monday, the 21st, winter will begin. The winter season on the calendar will begin. And, even though that sunlight is returning, we will still have the most amount of cold that we have here in the Northern Hemisphere. For those of us up here, it'll be we experience winter at that time, even though the days are getting longer and the sun is coming. That's really where we get our storms. And For those of you on the Pacific Northwest, if any of you are watching, this morning I'm in Carnation, and this morning we lost our power, we lost our internet because we had a really bad rain and windstorm. And it's actually pouring right now, and it's only 5 o'clock here, and you can see how dark it is outside. So that winter solstice energy is coming strong for us in the Northwest too. Cultures all around the world celebrate the winter solstice. And back in the day, back in the 16th century, a lot of times there would be famine and disease in the wintertime. And so a lot of places would slaughter their cows and their beef and have big feasts at this time of year so that they don't have to feed those animals over the wintertime. And so this year, this time of year traditionally has been marked by big gatherings, big bonfires to celebrate each other, and the return of the sun. In pre-Scandinavia, the feast of the Yule lasted 12 days, and that was also celebrating the rebirth of the sun, and that's where that Yule log tradition has come in. Now, over time, as Christianity has woven itself in as well, Christmas has kind of overlapped and evolved the winter solstice together. So there are many different celebrations depending on what track of religion or spirituality that you're in. And so for Christmas, that whole idea of gathering with your family and having a fire and exchanging gifts has real roots in, pagan cultures, pagan traditions around the world, those earth-centric religions. And so you can kind of see today how we're still carrying those traditions around and keeping them alive. One of the most famous celebrations I want to talk about specifically is the one at Stonehenge. And you may have heard of this celebration. On the winter solstice, they gather and they dance and they sing and they kind of celebrate with each other. Again, this is traditionally. I'm sure this year with the coronavirus things will be different, but they dance and sing and gather in groups to welcome the return of that sun. So they watch that sunrise come up through the Stonehenge stones there, and apparently it is a huge, massive celebration. And maybe someday we can join them in that celebration too. It sounds pretty fun. Now, energetically, this is the important thing. This is really what I want to talk about. This time of year specifically, this year in particular, we all typically go more introverted. So the summertime is more extroverted. There's lots more sun, lots more activity. People are moving all around, traveling and doing little adventures. This time of year is much more introverted. So we tend to dive deep inside. It's the place, the direction of the west and the north on the medicine wheel. And so it's the place of nesting. The animals like the bears and the frogs are hibernating, all of those deep sleepers. They kind of go to sleep at this time of year. And they say energetically, this is the time that we plant our seeds. We plant those ideas. We get that inspiration, the goals. We kind of look towards the next year. So 2021, at this time of year, we're looking at what do we want? Who do we want to be next year? What gifts and blessings do we want to bring into our life? And how do we manifest those dreams into reality? If you get stuck in dream mode and kind of thinking of all these different ideas and you never get anything done. So this time of year is really focused on not only setting those intentions, planting those seeds, but also seeing how those seeds can grow. And when you think about it, as we move into January and then the spring and then the summer, those seeds will begin to manifest and grow. All summer long, they're thriving. And then as we come into the fall, that's the time to harvest those energetic seeds that we've planted the year before. So that's something to consider as you are having a little bit more time on your hands when the weather is pouring out and snowing. My family's in Rhode Island, and they said that they had a big snowstorm yesterday too. So I know that winter weather is on its way and will keep us a little bit more indoors than we typically are used to. So when we are doing this, now this year in particular is a little bit different. 2020 has been quite a challenge for all of us. There is that social isolation that's happening. The summer kind of let up a little bit, but now that we're back in the winter, again, I'm in Washington. Those rules have been in place. I know people I talk to, the isolation and the stay-at-home request is out there. And so even though the holidays are here, next week is Christmas, which is my birthday as well, Christmas Day. I'll be here. This is the first time in 18 years I won't be going home. And so I'll be staying with my best friends here to celebrate Christmas and my birthday. So that alone, that type of isolation of not being able to be with your family and your friends and to celebrate and to watch them open gifts. I literally have a thing of bubble wrap here holding up my tablet because I'm packing all my gifts to be mailed home tomorrow. So I won't be able to see them when they open those gifts, and that's a little, that's a bummer. But at the same sense, there are things that you can do to help kind of turn that bummish, that kind of sad energy into something more uplifting and positive. And that's what I want to share with you today. So I see we have some questions coming through, and that's fantastic. Keep those things coming in. In just a few moments, I will answer those questions for you. I'm trying to figure out how to see the questions on this thing, but we'll figure it out in just a moment here. Okay. Self-care attached to the winter solstice. Now, in the winter, again, we have that darkness, we have that introverted energy, and it's really important. It's imperative that we exercise little bits of self-care all throughout our day for ourselves, because it can be a very heavy time of the year. And so we really want to put ourselves first and do things for ourselves that will make us feel in the right mindset to kind of move forward in our day and our weeks and over the winter season. Now, over the week here, you may have been seeing on Phil's page and on my page and in our private group page, I've done a week of self-care tips for the winter. And I want to go over them real briefly just to tell you what they are in case you've missed them, and then add a couple more in there. So Sunday started off with move your body. In the winter, a fantastic thing to do is move your body. And so I know I just mentioned we really don't want to go outside because it's cold and wet and rainy, but you can do yoga inside. Some people have a bike or something like that. You can watch videos on YouTube of aerobics or kind of just things to move your body, dance with your friends, things like that. Those are really fantastic ways. One of my teachers said in Ayurveda, they said to break a sweat every day. So as long as you can break a sweat, even if you just do push-ups or kind of jumping jacks, get that blood pumping and get that energy moving, because this time of year is already inherently much more slow and introverted and kind of dark. And so when you add no movement onto that, we actually feel that as a sluggish energy in our body. We kind of get a little tired. We may get a little depressed. We may get a little heavy. And so by moving our body and adding that fire into it, it really does counteract the heaviness of the darkness of winter. And I want to share something too. I think this is really interesting. A lot of times when we talk about aligning yourself with nature and aligning yourself with what's happening in the natural world, it may be challenging for us to see that and really kind of understand that. And I really feel that the winter time is an amazing time, amazing opportunity to actually see it, because like I said, it's 5:14 right now on the West Coast, and it's pitch black. It could be 10:30 at night is what it feels like right now. And I already start to feel that tiredness, like I'm going to go eat dinner and then put on a blanket and watch some TV and just relax. So this is the time that we really see that's the feeling of nature. Nature is wanting to relax and sleep and rest after a very extroverted summer. So moving your body is a great way to counteract that if you feel sluggish or tired throughout your day. The second one I gave out there was don't break the bank. So we have, Christmas and Hanukkah, all these different holidays coming up where people tend to exchange gifts. And I know a lot of us feel that we want to express our love for another by giving them a lot of things. And what I try to encourage my siblings, myself, my family, and all of my friends too is like, don't get that financial hangover in January. Don't blow all that money. This has been a challenging year for a lot of people. And I think the last thing all of us really want is to go into debt over Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. And so what I suggest doing is trying to make those gifts yourself. And I know sometimes people may get stumped at saying, I'm not creative or I can't do this. And I want to say there are a lot of beautiful DIY. If you Google, DIY, do it yourself, gifts, holiday gifts, you can come up with some really fantastic ideas. And they're really fun. And I think your family members and friends will really love getting something that you've made and put your own time into as well. So that's a great option. The third day suggestion was create a spa shower. Now, when we're taking our showers in our bathrooms, we're in there every day. And typically we kind of hop in, shower off, and then move on. And something to spoil ourselves, remembering that self-care thing, something you may be interested in doing is getting some fresh eucalyptus and hanging it in your shower. Now, I know you can find it at some grocery stores. A lot of times people use that for wreath this time of year. So I've seen fresh eucalyptus in a couple of different grocery stores around me. But if you grab a bundle of it, tie it up and hang it in your shower, when you go take your shower and that hot water kind of blends with the oils of the eucalyptus, it really makes that scent just kind of spread all over your house, and it smells so fantastic and wonderful. So making that fancy shower for yourself may be a beautiful thing to do and make you feel a little bit better. The fourth option I have here was discover a new winter scent for yourself. So again, because we're inside a little bit more, I'm looking at my room that has, it looks like Santa's workshop in here. I'm going to be spending a lot of time here. And some of the things that's nice is to find a new candle or a new oil diffuser, something that can bring in a new scent. And typically this time of year, they have lots of woodsy scents and fir scents, different oranges and cherries and cranberries, things like that, some spices. So you may find a new scent that you never knew about, that when you light it, it's like, kind of makes you feel good. You know, scents really have a powerful impact on our body. So that would be something fun to do, is find a new winter scent for yourself. Today, the tip that I shared was to eat foods that capture the sun. And again, I mentioned briefly about having a lack of sunshine in the wintertime. When we eat foods like kale and nuts and seeds and fruits, those are the foods that actually store the energy of the sun. So when we eat them, we kind of get a little bit more energetic, a little boost there, a nutritional boost. And so you may want to try to add some of those foods to your diet this time of year especially. Another topic that is important this time of year specifically is to hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So not only drinking more water because we get a little bit drier, but applying moisturizer on your skin too. This time of year really does. And someone just wrote LED lights help too. That's exactly a beautiful thing to do, is add some lights. Sometimes they have a thing called SAD, that's seasonal affective disorder. And there are specific lights for that to try to bring that brightness into your day and into the evening past that sunset. So you may consider adding some of those things. But yes, that hydrating your body with water and hydrating your skin with moisturizer is a fantastic thing to do for yourself this time of year. I only have two more. So the second to last one is to learn something new. Now, after the new year, we tend to have not that much stuff going on. You know, we had a lot of holidays in a row at the end of this year, and then the beginning of next year, it's kind of quiet. That is a fantastic time to take an online course or an online class, or do something that you can spend your time learning something new that you've always wanted to do. So I definitely encourage you to do that. And in our private group, a healing community with Greg Jamiel, which you'll know, we're going to be doing a winter solstice ceremony on Sunday for free if you'd like to join us. In that group, I'm going to be teaching a chakra course in February, the month of February and March. It's a 2-month course. And so I'll put more information about that, but that's going to be fantastic. So learning things like that, that can really help you stay motivated and engaged over that winter month will be a fantastic opportunity for you. The last thing I want to talk about is new ceremonies and rituals. So that sense of connecting with something greater than yourself, especially when you are in the wintertime and having a little bit more time on your own, it's a powerful medicine to be able to develop those relationships to our ancestors and to the sacred ones around us by working in ceremony and doing some rituals. So I would definitely encourage you, this Sunday, I'll talk real quickly about it, but this Sunday we're doing a winter solstice ceremony in our private group. In that group, a healing community with Greg Jamiel. If you join that for free, this coming Sunday, from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be doing a really beautiful ceremony. And this is the first time I've ever done this. So typically, I live at a retreat center here, and we have a yoga studio on the grounds. And so typically on the winter solstice, I do a big winter solstice ceremony and a drum circle and a fire ceremony, and we ring it in as a group. Now this year, we're not doing anything like that because we're all isolated and being at home. What I've decided to do is to share the ceremony with you one-on-one. And so you'll be at your home and I'll be on the screen, and I'll be guiding you through some different ceremonial processes that you can do, as well as a guided meditation. And we'll really be able to connect with that energy of the winter solstice, that place that if you feel it, and think about nature right now, think about that darkness. The winter solstice, in my mind, is that very interior place in your heart. It's that place that is the core of who you are when everything else is not seen. So it's dark out, we're alone. We have to face ourselves, we have to be with ourselves. And this year in particular, I think it's become very clear to us that the times where we get frustrated or the times that we struggle, this year has shown it to us from being isolated and being stressed out. And so using this winter solstice as a way to express gratitude for that awareness, for that awakening, is a really beautiful thing. And then also to release a lot of those things that we felt this year in hopes of preparing for beautiful new things to come our way in 2021. So that will be the theme of this Sunday's winter solstice ceremony. And again, I invite you to join that group and then just tune in Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern, and you'll be able to join us. I'm going to put a video in there ahead of time of how to prepare. So what you'll need a candle. You may want to have some sage or cedar, something like that. So I'll tell you all about that in that group ahead of time. So I want to take this time now to thank you for listening, first of all, because I caught myself kind of rambling. I get excited doing these talks. And at the same thing, it's kind of strange just talking to myself. So thank you for listening to me. And I want to go through here and look at some of your comments and answer your questions. So if you do have some time, pop in here. If you're feeling a certain way about the winter, let me know. And I have a bunch of different ways to help you turn that frown upside down and really make the most out of this winter season. So let's see here. Charlie says, I love Hawaii. I lived there for 3 years. Hawaii is fantastic, Charlie. I think that's beautiful here. I haven't been there in a while, but I love Hawaii too. Stonehenge, yes, people talking about Stonehenge. Let's see here. Teresa wrote something beautiful. Days to solstice, winter opens her arms wide, welcoming the cold in icy embrace. Long nights to whisper plans for the coming of spring. Teresa, that is a beautiful quote. I'm not sure if you wrote that, but it's gorgeous. So thank you for sharing that. Amanda, thank you. Happy birthday. Well, thank you for saying happy birthday and Merry Christmas to you too. So we have Echo, struggling with deciding to divorce or not, sitting in an ugly place of uncertainty. Echo, thank you for sharing that in this public forum. I think it's something many people have emailed us saying that this time of year they are feeling things. They are feeling that rush to make a decision, or they're actually coming to a decision in the winter months. And again, with everything we've been going through, these issues in our life are showing themselves to us right now. We've been through the thick of it in 2020, and the darkness is amplifying that. This winter, cold weather, lack of movement, lack of socializing, isolation, it's going to intensify those things. What I would highly suggest to anyone who is struggling to make a decision with anything is to take some breaths, sit in silence with yourself, and really kind of center yourself and be able to make the best decision for your whole life, not just one area of it, but the whole life. And so this time of year, again, is a profound time to do that, because we have no other option than to look at, well, you can always avoid that, but it's important to look at all the things that are coming up for you. And I want to add one more thing in here too. On Monday, on the solstice, this is an amazing thing. That winter star, that Christmas star is going to be up there too. There are lots of different energies. I could talk a whole video about planets and stars in that alignment. But think now, over hundreds of years, this is the last time that these planets have aligned in that Christmas star formation. And so thinking of those planets lining up, that clarity of our minds, that clarity of our heart, that clarity of our voice, all of those things that we're trying to line up here, that spine from crown of our head all the way down to tip of our toes, to the base of our spine there, that chakra system that is lined up, that is a fantastic thing. We have the stars lining up as well. So we are again mirroring what's happening in the natural world. And so I encourage you to spend time in silence with yourself and kind of digest what is coming up for you, whatever decision you're trying to make at this time. Really breathe, take a breath, and focus. Try to find that special place in your heart I talked about earlier. It's like that place on the inside that is never changing. It's who you were from the time you were born until the time you die. Regardless of what we've experienced, that spot stays true to who you are. So using meditation and pranayama breath techniques, you might be able to get in there and connect with that spot. Let's see. I'm having trouble. David writes, I'm having trouble staying positive compared to the summer months. What should I do? David, that is, I mean, that's it right there. Absolutely. I expressed that earlier. The summer solstice is so bright. That sun, that energy is so hot. It's warm out. We're hiking, we're traveling, we're hanging out, we're having cookouts. And then we come to the winter, which is much more still and isolated and kind of staying still. The one thing that I want to share about staying positive, I know that things in our life can definitely have an impact on how we feel and what we're doing, but the bottom line is that it is 100% our responsibility to try to manage our emotions. And so when we feel down and depressed, we have to try to use our creative mind to think of a way, do something that will help shift that energy, because it is so easy for that negative energy of winter, of darkness and depression, all of that stuff. It's easy for those energies to overwhelm us and kind of, we can slip down that road very easily. But when we try to connect with the positivity and the things that we're grateful for in our life and all of those beautiful gifts that we have access to, our friends and family, it's oftentimes a little bit more difficult for us to connect with that positive energy. Why? I don't know. But for myself too, it's like I can turn a great day into a crappy day really easily. But it takes a lot of work to take a crappy day and turn it into something really great. And so that's part of our mission of being here. That's part of what Phil says, our contracts, right? That's part of our contract, is to try to learn to manage our emotions and manage the energy that's coming through us. One specific thing you can do is look at the things that we digest, right? And I don't mean just food. We talked about eating foods that have lots of energy in them now, but the shows that you're watching, the people that you're talking to, the music that you're listening to, all of these things we digest. And I would definitely throw that out there to have you keep an eye on what you're digesting and see if there's something that you can change to kind of bring some more positive energy into your life. Chloe asks, what are some actions that we can do every day to de-stress and create a cumulative effect of less stress over time? Chloe, that's an awesome question. Thank you for asking that. One answer, drink some more water. That's kind of my go-to answer for everything. Drink more water. But no, one thing that you can actually do is a meditation practice. And when I say that, sometimes people go like, I don't want to meditate. It's so hard to me to meditate. I have some different tools and techniques that I have on my website for free. You can just go check it out. Candle gazing is one of them. But what it really comes down to is, can you check in with yourself every day? So a lot of times we wake up, that alarm goes off, or a child is saying, hey, come on, I want to eat. Or my dogs are kind of saying, hey, I want to go out to go pee or whatever. And so you kind of get up and you just start going. And then the whole day takes off. And by the time you have some time for yourself, it's the end of the day. That's one perspective. The other perspective is the opposite, where you get up and there's really not much going on, and you're kind of just, the clock is ticking and going on for a long time. Either way that you're living, or whatever you fall on that spectrum there, it is important to do a little check-in when you first wake up and a little check-in when you go to sleep. When I first wake up, I don't touch my phone. I mean, I may pet my dog or something, but I spend a few moments with my eyes closed and just doing an internal check-in from the tips of my toes all the way up to the crown of my head. And I just see where I'm at. I just see how am I feeling. And then I try to feel energetically how my body is feeling. Am I excited? Am I energized? Am I hopeful about the day? Maybe I have a few meetings or something and I'm hopeful about something really good happening. As that day moves on, as things happen throughout the day, my emotions and energy may, go up or down, or I may get a little angry or happy or whatever. But then checking back in at the end of the night, it lets me know, okay, what is really worth focusing on? What is worth letting go of? So some things may have happened during that day that I'm like, you know what? It really doesn't matter what this thing is. I'm just going to let it go. So by doing that check-in in the morning and in the evening, it's a really nice way to just come back to center, to where you are. That's one suggestion I would give for doing something every single day for yourself that will help. Let's see here. Deborah, I really like your wreath. Thank you so much. I was actually thinking about this talk and our winter solstice ceremony. So I got a little wreath, and then I got a little poinsettia and try to make the place look pretty, for the holidays. Plus, this is my bedroom. If I turn this around, my computer's on the bed, so it smells really nice to have that wreath and that poinsettia there too. So I just want to wrap this up for you guys and remind you to join our private group. It's all over both of our pages, A Healing Community with Greg Jamiel. And this Sunday, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, it's a free winter solstice workshop. It's going to be really beautiful because you are going to be able to have your own experience. You're going to play your own music at home, and it will be a chance for us to dive into the winter solstice together, set some intentions, try to connect with that fire energy, and then let things go into that darkness of winter so that we can create more room in our life for those beautiful, uplifting things to come into them in 2021. Thank you all so much. I probably won't see you if I don't see you on Sunday until next year. So I hope you have a fantastic holiday season, and I will see you when we return. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later. Sweet dreams.